Alfa Romeo 147 2-litre twin spark timing belt tips. I'm not going to show you how to do it. There's enough videos on YouTube to show you how to do it, but I'll just show you some tips that I've come across. On the timing belt covers, there's 10 screws and they're different sizes. On the car, you'll have a nightmare trying to find out which ones they go. So what it is, I draw a template of the timing case covers, and I put each screw where it goes, so when it comes time to assemble it, there'll be no dramas. Okay, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. This camshaft, inlet camshaft variator, it wasn't working properly. It was seized. Like, I tried to grab the timing sprocket and tried to move it, and it was seized. So what I did, I've seen videos where they've tried to take it off on here, on the car. Forget about it. Take the camshaft off. It's only taking off these bolts here. I put the camshaft in a vise, holding one of the lobes with soft jaws, so it wouldn't turn. And then I'll show you the tool that I made it pretty easy. Just 1 second, I'll go and grab it. Okay, there's the tool there. It's just made out of 2 bits of flat bar. It doesn't have to be very thick. Now, the reason I use 2 bits is I have not got a hole, a drill to drill this size hole. So what I did, I just drew it out there with a bit of white paint and ground it out with a little grinder. And then these 4 holes here, you put that on there and screw it on. And I use the same screws that hold the tooth sprocket on. So it goes that way there where it's ground. And as I said, I did it off the car. And I just used a rubber hammer to tap that, and it came off easy. Then there's some, I don't know if you can see it here, there's a circlip in there that comes off. Just put that between the vise to hold the spring tension. When you pull it apart, just watch how you reassemble it. But I cleaned it all up. It had all gunked up from this, like brown stuff like that, from the engine oil not being changed regularly, just carbon build up. And it just wasn't moving. So once I cleaned it up with some abrasive cloth and lubed it up, it moves beautiful now, backwards and forwards, so I'm sure that'll work good. So that's tip number 2. Oh, I'll tell you another tip here. When you take this housing off here to take the camshaft out, make sure you put some flange sealer on between these surfaces here, otherwise it'll leak. Another tip here. These are the cam tensioner adjusting tools. Now this one is for the balance shaft, which is down there. Let's see if that focuses in on there. Where are we? Not there. Is that focusing in on there or not? I'll try and show you how that works. That round bit goes on there, and you can see you can't put it on properly because it's hitting the air conditioning pipes, and I'm not going to try and wreck these pipes here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it there and shorten it so you can adjust it properly. And all you do, that little pin there, that hole goes in there, and that cam presses on there, and you adjust the belt that way. The bolt for that is behind that. Behind the pulley is the bolt. Now I'll just get underneath the car and show you, so you can see what I'm talking about. There's the pulley from underneath. The bolt's inside there. It's a little 10mm one. Doesn't have to be real tight. So that's another tip there. And I'll just show you how this. I'll see if I can show you on this one here. That's the timing belt tool, and you'll see it's got a round locating pin and an eccentric cam. Now, so I can get this camera on here properly so you can have a look. That fits in there like that. And then when you turn it, you'll see that that pushes the sprocket away. I just thought I'd show you that because everyone says, yeah, get the tools and yeah, do this and that, but nobody's actually showing you how they work. So that's how they work. And anything else I can think of, I will let you know. while you're doing the belt, you may as well change all the pulleys and sprockets and all the seals, because once you've got it apart, now's the time to do it. Okay, I hope that's helped in some way. See you in the next video. Okay, that's the balance shaft tensioner adjuster. I've cut it off there with the cut-off wheel. Don't try and cut it with a hacksaw because it's hardened. You bugger up your blade. Now I'm just going to chamfer that edge. Get rid of that. I'm going to chamfer that edge there and that edge there, and then just MIG weld it and grind it so it looks half decent. And then that'll get in there without having to move or disturb those air conditioning pipes. And I'll show you what it looks like when I weld it up. When it focuses. Okay, there's the tool cut and chamfered, ready to weld up. Now when you're welding little pieces here, just hold it securely so that when you weld it, it doesn't push it out of the way. So I've got it there in the vice grips, and then that's in the vice. So when I tap it on there, she's not going to move. Now I'll weld it up and grind it up, and I'll show you how she comes out. Okay, there's the tool shortened and welded up. And when we go to put it on, we'll find another problem. And that problem is, it doesn't quite fit on that pin properly. That's not going to be real handy when you go to turn it. So I'm just going to open that up with a little Dremel and see if it fits any better. Okay, I've opened her up with the little Dremel tool a little bit. Now we'll see how she fits on there. Beautiful, it goes all the way in there. You don't want it binding or anything, because when you turn that, you just want to feel the tension of the belt on that. And that's our model for a little tool. And you can see you've got a gap there between the air conditioning pipes. And the other tool here is kind of the opposite for the actual timing belt tensioner, but that fits in nice and free, and you turn that there like that, same way. Now I'm just waiting for the balance shaft seals to arrive, and while we're at it, I'll give you another little tip. Behind the sprockets for the balance shaft, where the seals run, I'll show you here. Now I've cleaned them all up, all inside there where the new belt's going to run. Got all the rust off there, there was a bit of rust on there. Now, let's see if you can see that. I've cleaned it up with the abrasive cloth, and right there where my fingernail is, that's where the seal runs. Now if I put that back in there, that will leak oil. There's the other one, there's no marks on that. And again, they were all brown from lack of oil changes, it just carbons up. Now I'll give you a tip for this one here. When you put this back in, you can turn it around and the seal will rub on that surface there. That'll prevent any leaks. With all your sprockets, clean all of them up so the new belt runs on nice clean metal like that, and it'll last a bit longer. This one was filthy. Whenever the last time it was changed, they never cleaned anything. Not the back of the cover, nothing. But now she's nice and clean. Should run a lot better. Thanks for watching. That's the little wire wheel I used to clean up the sprockets, just on a cordless drill. There's the exhaust one all cleaned up there. There's the inlet one with the clear thing there. Another little tip when you're changing the timing belt: clean all the teeth of the sprockets. I've done that with a little tiny wire wheel on the Dremel. And this one here is the exhaust cam. And see that tone wheel there with the teeth missing out of it? That was a bit rusty. I cleaned it up with some rust deoxidizer, and then to protect it, just some acrylic clear with the cotton buds. And she looks pretty good there. Well, let's wait till it focuses there. Yeah, because if that thing rusts out and falls off, good luck getting another one or trying to get it to run. Just clean everything as much as you can. That way the belts are running on a nice clean surface there, and it will last a lot longer. A fair bit of muck came off that. And not many people think of doing things like this, but when you've got a new belt, everything that it rubs on has got to be clean, otherwise it's pointless putting a new belt on. It's like having a shower and then putting your dirty undies back on. What's the point? Look at that, beautiful. Oh yeah. If your wife's not home, do it on the kitchen bench. Much better than working in the dirty garage.